The problem is, in the Web3 Degen space, and Melina, you can attest to this, it's a lot of middle-aged white dudes.
Very white. Yeah. Another black hoodie in the mail. Yay!
I would never tell my therapist about any of this.
The way we deal with that is by joking about it and telling each other that we're gamblers.
You know you're a Degen, right?
I'm sorry that you had to find out.
How dare you, sir?
Oh my gosh.
How dare you?
Welcome to the 40-year-old Degens podcast featuring a lovely young bright woman.
Nailed it.
Yeah, it was getting a bit male heavy, wasn't it? It's just me and Taco, and then we had two male guests last time.
Ooh,
so
that's no bueno.
But after today, 1/3 of all our guests will have been women.
Let's go.
That's a good stat.
I love
But still, our hosts are still 100% male. We're going to get there, guys. The problem is, in the Web3 Degen space, and Molina, you can attest to this, it's a lot of middle-aged white dudes.
Very white. Yeah.
This is Web3. I'm sorry.
Why am I not wearing a black hoodie today? That tends to be like my joke all the time. Another black hoodie in the mail. Yay!
I have an impossible number of black hoodies because I also own a lot of band sweatshirts, and bands only make black hoodies for whatever reason. And then you're in Web3 and they follow that trend. I have one pink hoodie, which I love. And the rest of my wardrobe is all just black.
I'm waiting for them to start doing merch for women, you know? So I have a lot of ideas. So, reach out.
So we're just at the early stages of this brand. What would 40-year-old Degen merch for women look like to you?
Maybe a white, larger t-shirt that you can wear with like shorts, like a bit more baggy. I feel like the style right now is very loose. For 40-year-old Degens, some socks.
Okay. Yeah, women wear socks.
And maybe a mug, I don't know.
Mugs I think, are pretty unisex. Melina, so we invited you onto this podcast and gave you nothing to prep with because we don't prep. But you know the name of the podcast is 40-year-old Degens. I don't think you're old enough to qualify for that, but would you consider yourself a Degen?
Okay, so this has been, it's a very aha moment for me. So a year ago, someone came to me and said, you're a Degen, right? And I was like, me? I'm definitely not a Degen. I just hodl really, really well. I just look at my bags, go all the way down. That's literally what I do. I have actually not made that much money. I have not yet bought a yacht, which I feel like once you buy your first yacht, then you can start repping the chains and say you made it in crypto, right? I have not reached that point, but people did tell me and sat me down and said, no, you're actually a Degen. So maybe we can discuss the definition because I truly never saw myself as one. But what people have told me is that if you're on Twitter, if you know what's going on, you know what the trends are, you know what people are talking about, you know the ins and outs of every little ecosystem and what's happening, that makes you a Degen. And if you're buying a coin like Fartcoin, you are definitely a Degen. So I'm now a Degen, Taco. To answer your question, I never, ever considered myself one. But if I fit in that box, then yes, I am a Degen.
That's
Well, hang on. Who told you that you were a Degen? Because there's levels to that, right? If it was your friends or someone else on Twitter, whatever. If your therapist is saying that to you, like, then I'm panicking at that point. I'm like, oh my god, no, I am a Degen.
My therapist and everyone around me who's not on Twitter, thinks I'm in a cult. So that's a whole other topic. They don't even know the word Degen. They're like, she's in a cult. So no, definitely people within crypto let me know that I was a Degen, because I really just didn't think I was one. My background, I come from television. I worked as a news reporter in Canada for over 10 years, did that for a really long time. And, got into the crypto space a bit with like my researcher hat. And I was like, who's this? And who's saying this? And how do you know that this is a good project? And where are the facts? And who's behind it? Did anybody interview the founder? Who's the founder? Why is he hiding behind some cartoon JPEG? I had all these questions when I came in, So within 5 years, I kind of figured out, my way into this ecosystem and made a place for myself. But yeah, I never would have considered myself a Degen.
There's a couple of things you said about being a Degen that I think a little bit differently on. You said a Degen is someone who knows the ins and outs. I think I'm a Degen because I don't actually know anything. And I ape into tokens and NFT projects with very little knowledge, just because I'll see you say something about it, or one of my friends, or I'll see something shiny on Twitter and I'll go, oh, that's shiny. And I'll go buy. I think Fartcoin, you're right on. Anyone who buys Fartcoin 100% is a Degen. I don't know anything. And also the fact that I would never tell my therapist about any of this, I think is also makes me a Degen, because I know my therapist would say, what? No. Like, have you talked to Mrs. Taco about this? And if you don't bring it up to your therapist, I think that's high Degen points.
I mean, Hutch, how would you describe, like, what's a Degen in your eyes on your side of the pond there?
See, I take both of your explanations into account, right? I think Degen is a funny thing that we say to each other to let people know that we're in the same club, right? It's not serious. We're like, oh, it's all degenerate gambling, because what we should have done is buy S&P 500 shares or, treasury bonds if we were going to be reasonable. And so anything outside of that contains this kind of element of opium and risk. And so, I think you, Melina, said, like, I was investigating founders and I was doing this, but just being in the space of risk. Yeah, you're a Degen because you're part of the club. Taco, I mean, I think this is another level of problematic, right? Because Taco has definitely once gone buy, right? Just seeing a funny meme and buying off of that. That's a level of degeneracy that not many people get to. But I think that, like, ultimately, it's a way of us identifying people that, we're out here on the edges of tech and finance, if we still believe that's the fundamentals of all of this. And, like, that's risky. And, the way we deal with that is by joking about it and telling each other that we're gamblers.
Yeah, we're just having some fun gambling. So it just occurred to me, we did a non-traditional opening to this show. I don't think we have officially introduced Molina as a guest. She introduced herself as a lovely lady, I think. Accurate. But also, hey everybody, I'm Taco, this is Hutch, and joining us this week is Melina. Also, a.k.a. Girl in the Verse. Is Girl in the Verse the brand and you are Molina? Is it so that's the thing. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. So, I'll explain the whole Girl in the Verse thing. So, 5 years ago, like I said, I entered the space, the whole storyline here, and I've said this so many times, but I love sharing the story because I just feel like it really represents my journey, but also is very relatable. So the story goes, it's like pandemic, I'm in journalism. I'm practically a therapist at this point for a lot of people. I'm in Canada, lockdowns, we've heard all of those things. I decide to leave the industry because I'm like, I'm burnt out and I'm exhausted. This is not real. I cannot be I needed to degen, because at that point in my life, I was like, if this is going to be the next 40 years of my career, I'm done. Just like, I'm going to, exit. So just decided to exit because it was just it was too much, really. The industry and now at this point, I think the industry has gone to shambles anyway, but, left news, and my, at the time, boyfriend, we go to his friend's house, and then I'm seeing all these guys. They're like, look at this JPEG, and look at this one, and I want this one with the cigar. And I'm like, what are they talking about? And then, after a couple of beers, they're like, we're going to launch our NFT collection. I'm like, what are they even talking about, And we come home, and my partner's like, you know what? You're really good at social media. You're going to be our marketing person for this NFT collection that we have yet to figure out a name, an animal, a whatever. And I'm like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I actually will never take a gig unless I know that I can market it correctly or do the work correctly. So right away I said no. And we initially fought about this because he just kept saying, no, me and my friends, we're going to make millions and blah, 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 blah. And I said, look, respectfully, have fun. But I just I have no idea what an NFT is. But after days of me thinking about grown men discussing random JPEGs online, I thought to myself, well, what are they doing? Let me go research this stuff. So that's how it happened. Quickly figured out that everyone was on Twitter. As a reporter, I was on Twitter for many, many different reasons, but then created a new account on Twitter, started diving in, started, doing that research, and then quickly got on a Twitter space, started asking questions, and then just kind of dived into it. And then in doing that, at the time when I would request to speak on stage, even though my name was like Melina or whatever, the guys would be like, hey, bro, what do you have to say about this? And I'd be like, sorry, I'm a girl and I have a couple of questions. So to make it easier for a lot of these hosts, I decided to change my name to Girl in the Verse, because also at the time, Facebook rebranded to Meta. If we go back in time, they had rebranded to Meta. They said they were investing billions of dollars into this metaverse. And that kind of made sense to me. The metaverse, this idea of ownership and content. And then you had Gary Vee selling NFTs and my friends buy Ethereum, So all of that was happening. And I, instead of listening to my boyfriend, I was like, Gary Vee told me to buy ETH. And that's why I bought Ethereum,
yes.
And I'm not really ashamed to say it because I feel like it's so relatable. People were buying ETH because some guy on the internet told them to buy, not because their friend did. So bought Ethereum. And at the time too, my partner was like, Ethereum sucks. It's all about Bitcoin. And I'm like, I don't care what you say. So we just had this whole relationship in the house, Bitcoin versus ETH and vice versa. And that's basically how I got to be this girl in the verse, because I even at the beginning started blogging about it. Am I weird to be in this world where people are JPEGs? And I would write about this stuff, So that's how I became the girl in the verse. I still think there's a metaverse coming. I know people hate that word now. It's no metaverse, but I think it's still coming. So that's how that came about. And then I would say, for me, because I came from a world that was very serious, very suit and tie, this space was the complete opposite. It's complete shenanigans. It's jokes on the timeline. It's memes and whatnot. So then I started doing this riff of funny news items, but make it funny, make it very, funny and quirky and whatnot. So I started doing that. And that's sort of how it all took off for me. People were like, who is this person doing this funny news segment? So yeah, that's basically my story. And now I will say with complete confidence that all roads lead back to Bitcoin. And now my husband, because now he's my husband, we both agree that you got to stack your sats. So I love my whole story.
What was the NFT project you ended up not working for? Was that Bored Ape? Is that where the story ends? Where they asked you to do the social media for them and you're like, I don't understand what you guys are talking about?
No, this is my husband. My husband and his friends thought that they were going to start an NFT collection
Did
like
they
everybody
launch
else.
it? Oh, they didn't
but they
do
never
it.
did.
Oh,
No, no, no. But okay, so here's the other funny part. They didn't launch it, but I built a business. So that's how the story goes. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do your thing. I'm gonna go build my own thing. so now my and Taco knows. Taco's met my husband. So now my husband comes and accompanies me to the events. So
see.
that's been really fun.
Is he doing your marketing now? Have you flipped the tables? That no,
and
no.
everyone at the events refers to him as Melina's husband.
Yeah, guy in the verse. So now he's taken that handle too. He's like, I want to be the guy in the verse. I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's our story. But it's for me, it's like super relatable. It also shows, where we were 5 years ago. You know what I mean? And I love to reshare that because, and I've said this to so many people, and I'm sure Hutch, you probably agree with this, coming from that industry as well. It's like, you have to write these things down with timestamps. Because this space moves so fast and you tend to forget. You tend to forget that 5 years ago, everyone was bullish on ETH. Go on the timeline now. Everyone's like, they're bullish now. But I mean, not the same sort of.
It's been a rough couple of months for ETH.
There you go.
And tell us about your style of comedy news, because your crypto perfume advert, I was crying laughing at that. It's that brand of like, because it's a little bit taking the mick out of Web3 culture, but also like bro culture and the kind of intricacies of it. And then the moment you said crypto, I burst out laughing. That got me.
So I live in the French part of Canada. So that was an easy play on words for me, but also I would say originally when Binance came out with this ad of like, because this is a true ad. Here's another thing. We're going to go back to the DGENs and the Web2 world. My friends in Web2 were like, oh, were you in a perfume commercial? I was like, no, that's the joke, right? So Binance had released this perfume for women, and they were going on the streets of, I don't know, Hong Kong or something, and like basically spraying it out on the streets and asking women if they like the smell of it. But this was a real campaign. This wasn't like a BS campaign. This was a real legitimate campaign that they came out with. And the jokes on the timeline and the women coming out, I think even Betty from Deadfellas was like, what is this? Like everyone was like appalled by this, right? But I took the spin because let's say, maybe one of my dreams was to get blown out, like some hair blown out dry, marketing, perfume ad that, basically that like, that's awesome. And I thought to myself, how can we turn this into like a joke? Because it is a joke because I'm a woman in crypto and my girlfriends are still not buying crypto and they're not going to buy it with this perfume, So, but that one I would say came very natural because you had the perfume element, you had the joke of like being the woman in crypto, and then you had like the guys, the smell of the musty, like I don't remember what I said in it, but and that one garnered so much attention because I feel like it just again that capturing that lightning in a bottle in that said period of time. Yeah, I don't know. It was just like so good. And like we did that here in my living room and we just like, I even have a video of like so my husband did film that video for me. I was like, you need to help me film this thing. And we took the blow dryer out and my hair is like flying, like the Beyonce-esque of it. Like it's ridiculous because it had to be. And yeah, I still think that marketing campaign did not succeed. I don't think it did.
It didn't get more women into crypto.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And
it angered all of the women in crypto.
It angered the one who.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's still just like the 7 of you.
Probably. I've had to. So originally, when I entered as well, I was also that girl buying all the women projects. We're going to build wells in Africa. We're going to get all the women iPads. Like, I was like, yeah, we are. Like, I was like super interested in doing that and supporting that sort of mission. I would say now, 5 years later, I'm trying to steer away from the women's only, women this, women that, because we're still only the 7 women here, and that's okay. But also, instead of just talking about being a woman, just go do the thing, but you're a woman, you know? So I've kind of just like moved on from that to just doing the thing. And yeah, I am a girl, you know, type of thing. I would even say, I don't know if you guys saw, but like a couple of weeks ago, I did this funny skit. So the Binance one was that moment, right? At some point, the market got really sad and depressing. So doing funny skits was not it. Like, I was not doing any funny skits for a long time because it wasn't funny. We were all sort of depressed and crying.
Hard disagree on that. That's exactly the time to be funny, but go on.
No, because anyway, so I took a kind of like long pause of like the funny skits because they weren't coming as natural as I would say they were in the past, but in like the peak of 21. So a couple of weeks ago, I did one where it was about finding a job in crypto. I don't know if you saw it, but like anyways, so that one, people were like, oh my God, she's back. She's doing this funny stuff. And I'm like, yes, okay, great. Like, you know, yeah, I took a break, whatever. So that one was really funny. But this one, this past week that I did, I actually got a lot of hate for it. And it's the first time ever that people are hating on me for doing a funny video, which now I feel like, yes, I made it. I may have lost some friends, which makes me sad. But I always say imitation is a form of flattery. So if you're mad about it, it's not my fault.
Who did you poke fun at? Who got mad over it?
So I'm in many, many different ecosystems. I would say this one was really towards the ordinals and the Bitcoin ecosystem after the Wizard launch. We've had many, many projects a week after the Wizards basically liquidated the entire Bitcoin ordinals ecosystem. We're launching NFTs on Bitcoin, so ordinals on Bitcoin. But the thing is, people on the timeline were calling them grifters. People on the timeline were saying these people are just, you know, we're their last exit liquidity. We don't want to launch this NFT collect. We don't want to help them launch this NFT collection, blah, 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 blah. So last week, everybody, if you go on any ordinal space, was just talking about these 2-3 collections that were launching that same week and how it was not going to be good. The ecosystem was not happy that these players were launching collections. Like, who are you? And their response was, well, I host a Twitter space. Or, you know, I've been here forever. Okay, you know, so I kind of, the jokes that I did in the video really reflect what people were saying in the ecosystem, right? It's not like I'm coming up with this stuff and attacking people. I basically took what everybody was saying and just, you know, crafted a skit. So the people that launched these NFT collections also did not mint out last week, which was also a reflection of, again, where we are, right? People really felt like they were grifting. So yeah, it seems like I have pissed off those actual collections that I also helped promote. You know, I will say that openly. I was backing these projects up. Well, I was telling them, yeah, sure, I'll retweet, I'll help you guys, you know, I'll get you guys on a couple of shows this week. And even the people that I told, hey, have them on your show, were like, we don't believe that they're cool. You know what I mean? So again, very much a reflection of what the community was saying that I turned into. I mean, Taco, you've seen it. And people are mad about it. Like, oh, how could she do this? It's like, I didn't do anything. You launched the collection. You actually made 3 Bitcoin. I made 0 from this video. You know what I mean? It's like, actually, I'm the one that's poor.
Right.
So, yeah, it's very strange, but also I would, to even tie into your podcast, the 40-year-old Degens, I would say I'm starting to see a side of boys that I've never seen before, you know, almost seems like they feel like they're entitled, or they're back in high school, like you're either with the cool kids or you're not, or now we're not going to talk to you. And it's like, wait a second. Like, we all have lives outside of this. This is a joke. You made your 3 Bitcoin. I don't know why you're mad at me, you know? But that's where we are. But I feel like I've made it now. Now that I'm getting people hating me, I think I've made it.
I love that for you.
Oh, that's a sign of infamy. Infamy is definitely a sign of that. Well, and you can be assured that on this podcast, Taco and I were never the cool kids. We've never been in that gang. We're the outsiders, I think. Sorry, Taco. Oh, I'm sorry that you had to find out this way.
How dare you, sir?
Oh my gosh.
How dare you?
I've just shattered your world.
Are we not the cool?
Good Lord, no. Oh, I knew it was coming eventually. He was going to storm off. It was always going to happen. He's a diva, let me tell you that. On camera, he's lovely. Off camera, a diva.
I can see why some people might push back. I thought that skit was amazing. You had me from the very first second with the wooden spoon, and then you were talking about so many NFT projects, and I think people were mad because I think it was too real. Like the guys, we've hosted 200 hours of X Spaces. It's like, oh my God, that's a legitimate qualification for launching an NFT project. And then, like, what's the utility? It's like the community's the utility. It's like, oh fuck, that's like, I felt so seen as a community person. It's like, yeah, the community is the utility. That's all you got to do, right? Guys, we have a great community. We're fine. We're doing great.
Yeah, just like lock up your Discord, and that's why you're paying this project for, to access a Discord.
I thought it was great, obviously.
Well, and that's the thing too, is I also feel like the space is so young, even just mentally, that I've always said this, right? And I don't know if you guys agree, but we have outside qualifications of Web3. So I agree with you. We're not probably the coolest kids in crypto, but we actually come with the skill. So when we come into this space with the skill, and when I hear people like, we're waiting for retail, and I tell a lot of these projects, you do not want retail here because they're going to eat you up. Retail will come in here and create real jobs, real qualifications. You guys, none of you have what it takes. Actually, that's the truth, you know, because when you actually have real competition coming in, that's when you gotta, you know, right now it's we're friends, we're here, but if retail comes in, no one's your friend. They're all going to squish you. And that's the truth.
Yeah. Well, and it comes back to, like, you know, most crypto projects that launched in the first iteration of the NFT bull run, right? They didn't even have 200 hours on X Spaces, right? These were the minimum qualification was to be able to generate 10,000 pieces of art. That was all you needed. And then what's been nice is seeing over time people that are building something genuine and authentic rise to the top. But you're right. The moment retail come in, they're going to want to know what they're getting. Like, what's the value of this? And art. And, you know, we used to have these discussions actually when we were building the propositions back in Gala. Like, yes, we all understand that the value here is that it could pump and all of this kind of stuff. But people who aren't on Robinhood, who aren't looking at crypto charts, they need something else to care about. And at the moment, 99% of projects don't have that. That thing that is deep and meaningful is not there. Apart from Taco, like, Taco is the utility of our project. There's no NFTs. Taco is the utility.
It's me.
I mean, I would much rather pay to then monthly go to the Waffle House. Like that's what I would do. But the problem, and again, even just the fact that people are getting mad at like me, the creator, is also a representation of where everyone is at right now, right? They want to play the blame game, right? Oh, we didn't mint out because, but no, actually, like if you were a business, you know what I mean? You would have thought about all of these things because, and let's face it, I worked in media relations. A lot of the times it's about, you know, turning down, like stopping those fires. But to go out into the world and think that nobody is going to ask you some of the hard hitting questions is, I don't know, it's like, it's unheard of. And I get that a lot. Like we have people, they come on a space and they're like, we're going to build the ticket master. It's like, okay, how are you going to do it? Do you know that like, you know what I mean? And then what I tend to get is, oh, she's fudding. No, we're not fudding. We actually know what do you know what I mean? And so I just find it's interesting to see how people with skill get told that they're fudding, they're not part of the cool kids, they're this, that, and the third. But actually we're here with the real questions, and we're here actually thinking about this business longer term than just the mint. And that's what I'm starting to see, even with the pushback of this, right? Of this video. You didn't mint out. None of you minted out. Some of you did, but that's besides the point of the joke, which is all you need to do is launch a space and now you're entitled to get this money. You know what I mean? No. Who are you?
Talking of the hard questions, Melina, what is your Waffle House order?
Oh my God. I go for the main, the big breakfast. I don't know what it's called, but just
I
like
believe you're
everything.
referring to the All-Star.
Yes, that's it. The All-Star. I do ask for whole wheat bread or, you know, brown bread just to, you know, keep it semi-healthy. But I want the waffle. I want the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do the egg sunny side up. Yeah.
I'm fascinated. I've never been to a Waffle House. I've never.
I only discovered the Waffle House like 3 years ago, again, because of my partner. He's like, this breakfast place is amazing. So when I met Taco and he was like, I was like, oh my God, all these Waffle House like connoisseurs, like this is like, you know, I love it. And I didn't even, Hutch, just so you know, because I didn't know this, it's not in every state in the US. I didn't know that.
No.
Yeah.
It's in certain places, and I don't even think I've ever seen one. So,
oh my God,
where are they, Taco? Are they in California?
They're not in
the
California.
highways.
No, they go as far west as
so-
as Arizona, but the Arizona ones don't count. It's predominantly the South. They're based in Atlanta, so there's a ton in Atlanta, and it kind of goes out from there. But as far north as Pennsylvania, there's one in Pennsylvania. But yeah, mostly the South.
Well, see, that's where I don't have good coverage in those areas. Right, I've been to California,
Yeah.
I've been to New York, I've been to Charlotte, North Carolina once.
Yeah,
but like that's about it. So I've never crossed paths.
They're in Charlotte, so you could have gone to Charlotte. And Melina, I don't remember where we met first, but that impression of me sounds like it would have been our introduction. It would have been, oh, well, this is Taco, and I would have said, I love Waffle House.
Totally. Well, because every conference we've been at, you're always like, I just came from the Waffle House and I had my big breakfast. I'm like, who is this person? How does he even get to the Waffle House during a conference? I'm like, I barely have time to find coffee.
Right. I probably should be going to the conference.
Yeah, he's just eating. He's like, I took this excuse to go.
That's exactly right.
And then I would say my sister's a huge Jonas Brothers fan. And so when they came out with the Waffle House song, I'm like, I think the Waffle House is like rebranding somehow. Because like now I constantly hear about it, Hutch, to your point. I had never, ever been. I've been to a couple in Florida, which is where sometimes I vacation, and that's where I had my first experience with the hubby. I love it. It's such a for me, coming from Canada, it's such a like American diner style vibe. You sit down, and that lady is like so happy to pour you coffee. How are you doing, darling? You know, I just love all that vibe.
Yeah.
Right, Taco? Yeah, it's a vibe. Hutch is like, I'm missing out.
Someday, Hutch, someday.
Well, I'm missing out, but also the idea of people being nice and talking to me as a Brit, that deeply disturbs me. I'm immediately uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to get through it. So that is my general problem with America, right? Like just people being willing to talk to you in public, and that's very strange. But yeah, I get, it's part of America's charm. That's why I don't spend a lot of time there. I've got to be honest.
It depends on where you are. If you're in the South, people want to talk to you, and they're genuinely nice people, or they're really not nice, but you would never guess it. I'm in the Northeast. I'm in New England, where we are quite cold. Like I wouldn't talk to you on the street where I am, but down there for sure.
Good. Well, you're closer to England, right?
Yeah, the closer you get to England.
As people migrated across America, there was this sort of like the deprogramming from the British way. So you guys got like the Atlantic, but that was about it. But like by the time you're in like the South or California, like you're happy. The sun's shining. It's not raining anymore.
Yeah,
like those are different. That's not England.
Yeah. While we're discussing breakfast foods, I'm going to pivot to something. Melina, you have a very unique perspective on this. We've debated pancakes here because apparently there's a such thing as a British pancake, which is quite different from the American pancake, which is obviously different from the crepe. You're in the French part of Canada, and I'll say I'm half French Canadian. Both of my my meme and Pepe were first generation, but where I'm half Quebecois. And so,
love it.
But you have there the influence of the French and the English, and now some American. What do you guys do for your pancakes? Whose pancakes do you eat?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So I don't know what it is in England. Is it like the crepe? Is that what you're referring to? Like your pancakes are thinner?
Well, yeah. So it's halfway between, I think, because an American pancake is smaller generally and thick, and then a crepe is very thin and almost and like large, just cooked, right? Like it's just the moment that it turns from liquid into something else, that's when you're serving it. A British pancake is based on the crepe, right? It's the same batter, but we cook it in a frying pan, and so it's a bit more greasy, it's a bit more crispy. And you're supposed to like fold it with lemon and sugar. So it's sort of halfway, I think.
No, so I would say here we definitely have the pancake. That's what it is, because it'll be thicker. We do have some spots where they offer crepes, but that's another thing. In France, most of them are salty, which they'll put ham and cheese. They'll have like a sweet side, they'll have a sweet option. But a lot of the crepes that I would say we see here are on the salty side. But no, so we're strictly maple syrup, thick pancakes, American style.
Sorry, Hutch.
Look, I'm just, all I can do.
Sorry.
all I can do is try and raise awareness of the British pancake. That's all I can do. That's what I was sent.
I'll give you. I went to London for like 2 days. It was like in between flights, so I just stopped and visited because I was like I needed to come visit. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed the fish and chips. I enjoyed like so much, which a lot of people are like, oh, like the food in England's not good, but it was pretty good.
It's the thing that I don't understand about specifically the US and Canada. Well, not Canada, but definitely the US, right? The UK has all of the same sort of stodgy foods, right? It's burgers, it's chips, or fries, or those kinds of things. But we just have less preservatives in all of our stuff. So it's like everybody sort of like, if you're looking at American food, it is a kind of step up. It's all the same stuff, but it just, everything tastes a little bit different. But we notice it. Like, there's a group of us who worked for Gala, and we would go out as a team quite regularly, and like Coke tastes different, chips taste different, meat tastes different, fruit tastes different. It all just has this other quality that I don't know, just feels a bit. It has a you know, like you're in a hospital and it's been cleaned, like sanitized, and it just has that light smell of like ammonia. It's not ammonia, but it's that kind of like hint of something else. Very strange.
You know what it is, Hutch? It's excellence.
It's a red dye, blue dye.
It's the taste of freedom.
I thought it was high fructose corn syrup.
It's the taste of freedom.
Yeah, let's not talk about the freedom and the tariffs.
As a Canadian, how is anyone in Canada like, yeah, this is cool, let's be the 51st state? Or is everyone up there just like, what in the hell is happening?
I'm the only person. Okay, so here's the thing. This is another thing that I've realized, that we are in a psyop, okay? Because everyone around me, when I said, oh my God, 51st state, yes, it removes all this paperwork I need to do now, right? Like, I'm like, let's go. Whereas now I'm noticing, and this is all because of the information that people are receiving left, right, and center, but everyone around me is like pro Canada, pro, and I'm like, what is happening? Because I never thought that would happen, but I would say, in fact, it's actually creating a lot of people who I would say originally didn't think they had these strong sentiments towards their country, now are like tattooing the flag on their chest. I don't know. Like, it's very weird to me. I would even say I had some friends get mad at me because they're like, you're on the Elon app and how dare you support him? I'm like, I didn't realize that. So I would say it's been weird. Really, it's a weird time for everyone. Just give us the hockey. You know, that's all I'm. I think Canadians just want to win this year. That's all we've got left. But I would love to be the 51st state, however that would look. But I'm not allowed to say that openly. So, you know, let's just keep it between us.
We'll bleep it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep it between us. No, it's weird. We're in a weird time. We're actually even going into an election in Canada. So like, it's just like, it's all very muggy. But we'll see what happens, you know, we'll see what happens. But it's just, it's a strange time. I will say, even for me as a young person, this is probably like my third recession in the last, I don't know, 8 years. I just see the world differently now. I would say I'm a third generation now, Italian immigrant. I see the world very differently now. I'm much more inclined to look at the world as like the world, and just not like we're great, we're grateful, we're in North America, everything's rosy. I'm starting to see that this 9-to-5 hopium life that we're living, the grind, is not really what it's cut out to be. But everyone around me thinks that I'm delusional. So hopefully I can prove everyone wrong in the next year. But I just, you know, I actually just don't think this is the quote unquote American dream that a lot of us have been, you know, striving to achieve. So that's why I got into crypto, you know, because I was like, this is not it. This is not working for me. And, you know, I tell a lot of my friends, I don't see us retiring at 65. I don't believe that. So I also will not rely on my government to pay me during my retirement. So we have to find different ways right now.
Yeah.
We got all serious, but that's just what it is, right?
Hey, sometimes you have to be serious about this stuff.
Wonderful. Well, and we're sort of at time there. So let's make sure we plug everything. Plug socials and whatnot. Taco, do you want to tee that up?
Yeah, I'd love to start by plugging Consensus Toronto, who, Melina, I believe is paying you handsomely to get your friends to buy tickets. Is this right?
I wish. Taco, my husband was convinced that they put that picture because they knew who I was. And I said, no, I can guarantee you they randomly put that picture. And when you posted about it and we got confirmation, I was shocked. I was shocked with that response. But yes, I'm waiting for Consensus to fly me out, VIP. I'm waiting to receive some sort of kickback off of all the sales they're making, because Consensus is coming to Toronto this year in Canada, which is, I don't know if they regret their decision, but I can tell you a lot of people right now are like, how do I get to Canada?
I'd already purchased my ticket. I bought it a while ago. I was already going. Hutch, I don't know if you're aware. My socials are flooded with ads for Consensus, and Molina she's the featured. She's just there having the best time anyone's ever had at a conference. And I see the ad, I'm like, that's Melina. And so I posted it. It's like, what is happening? They probably didn't do it on purpose, but every single day I see you 100 times a day. I see you pop up in my feed, just smiling Consensus, being like, hey, come to Consensus. Like, I was already going to Consensus, but this is also wild. This is actually, I'm wearing my Left Field Brewery hat in honor of Canada and Toronto and Consensus, because it's a Toronto brewery, which I really like. They're not sponsoring the pod. They could.
They could. But yeah, Consensus is coming up in Toronto. It's going to be exciting. I look forward to seeing all the Canadians talk about crypto.
Where
it's going to be interesting. It'll be my first time.
Where are we going to go to breakfast at Consensus Toronto?
I'll have to figure that out, because I'm not a native Torontonian, so I'll have to speak to some of my peeps there. I'll try to find a place, Taco, for us. We should do that.
Excellent. Was I supposed to plug? I'm not plugging anything else, Hutch. I just wanted to talk about.
Yeah, you're supposed to plug all of Melina's links.
Oh, that
Twitter. Where
Melina can plug all of her own.
Yeah, come find me on Twitter.
Yeah, you're on Twitter.
Yeah, but it's a kindly thing to do as the host of the podcast, Taco.
Isn't the person?
He just wants me to do it all, you know? He's like, this girl, the one-stop shop.
People plug their own stuff, don't they? I'm not a professional podcast host, Hutch. I'm just a DGEN. I'm just a 40-year-old DGEN. You ask too much of me.
No, but you can definitely come find me. I like to say I make crypto fun and relatable. You can come find me on Twitter. It's at girl_in_the_verse. Everywhere else, I'm at girl in the verse. You can come find me also on YouTube. I host a ton of Twitter spaces as well. Over 200 hours at this point of Twitter spaces myself. And come find me at all these events in the next few weeks. I'm going to be in Dubai for Token 2049, which is going to be exciting. It's my first time ever in Dubai, so I'm excited to see what happens there on that side. Then Consensus, and then the Bitcoin conference in Vegas. So I look forward to meeting everyone.
Super. And I might be on the lookout for a new co-host soon, now that I've seen Taco's real skills. And also, Taco it was so quickly shepherded away by Bucks recently onto another space that we won't talk about it. Obviously, Taco is a free man; he can do what he wants. I am not Taco's jealous husband. But,
here's the thing, Hutch. I'm out of contract right now, which is my code for I don't have a job currently, and so anyone who asks me to co-host a space or to be on a panel or to do, I'll do literally anything right now. Because I'm not doing anything else.
It was wonderful. I did enjoy it. It was good. It was good listening. We've done the promotion thing. Taco, have you got anything else to say? How do we finish this?
I think we just did.
Oh, okay. Cool. Done.